While Patrick Laine has already made his debut for the Columbus Blue Jackets, we're still waiting on the debut of Pierre-Luc Dubois in the Winnipeg Jets uniform due to the fact that the Canadian government and everything all going on with COVID has just been so tight with his quarantine and all the restrictions he's had in place with meeting people and whatnot since his arrival from the U.S. But today he met with Paul Maurice, went into the locker room, skated for the first time on the Winnipeg Jets ice with the team, and was just overall involved with everything going on with the team today. So it looks very, very promising, and even possible that maybe not on Monday, but the game after that, or even possibly Monday, depending on how he looks, that he could potentially draw into the lineup very, very soon. And because of that, I want to finally talk about what I think the best line combinations for the Winnipeg Jets moving forward are when Pierre-Luc Dubois joins the roster. Now, I just want to say this right off the back. These are my opinions, and there are going to be players on my list, on my roster, that you would probably, have over other players or under other players. It really doesn't matter, because when it comes down to it, is that this is my opinion on what I think I'd like the Jets to look like. I'm just an armchair GM fan who likes to do this stuff because I think it's fun. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below, but just remember to be respectful, because this is just one guy's opinion. You're totally allowed to have a different opinion on something like this, because this is a very controversial thing, and not in the bad sense, but because almost everyone's going to have a different opinion. There's going to be a consensus opinion, but there's not going to be an overall opinion that everyone agrees on. So these are just my combos. I've got 4 different lineup combinations that I think are the best for the Jets moving forward. So let's jump into the first line combination I have, which is starting off with the first line: Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Blake Wheeler. Now, the reason why I think that this line would be beneficial to the Jets moving forward, although I've been very heavy criticized Blake Wheeler to start this season, has to do with the fact that they have been successful in the past, and possibly breaking them up to start the season, building chemistry with other players, getting their confidence throughout the lineup might be something beneficial if they possibly reunite. Not only is it good to possibly reunite these guys because of their past in playing, but because Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to command such a massive role within that top 6, it's going to be good to have guys playing that are familiar with each other, and that's to be something beneficial for the Jets moving forward. Now, the second line, I have Andrew Kopp playing with Pierre-Luc Dubois and Nikolai Ehlers. Now, the reason why I think that would be a beneficial second line for the Jets moving forward has to do with the fact that Andrew Kopp and Nikolai Ehlers have really complemented each other well so far to start the season, playing in between Paul Stastny, and Pierre-Luc Dubois kind of brings that element of what Paul Stastny brings with his center and how he plays the role. And I think having someone who's even younger and playing better hockey than what Stastny already is interjected into that line could be beneficial for the top 6, and would really, really, I think, solidify Nikolai Ehlers' talents and really elevate him to the next level. Not to mention that Andrew Kopp has already started to show so much development within his ability to play that top 6 role extremely well with offense and defensive positioning against other top 6 forwards. So it's really good to see him developing his offense and just his overall game more and more to a higher level of consistency. So I think it would be really beneficial to see what he could do given a more increased, consistent top 6 spot with the Jets. Now, the third line is where it gets a little interesting in my opinions. I have Jansen Harkins playing with Paul Stastny and Mason Appleton. Now, the reason why I think that's a good pairing obviously is to do with the fact that I'm very high on Harkins, even though his play has been subpar the last couple of games, but not to mention that he still is looking like a good developing player in that bottom 6 role. I still think there's a lot of potential there with him. I think Appleton as well has shown a ton of potential over the last 5 games, 3 goals, 2 assists, so I think having him there on that third line with a offensive guy like Stastny could really benefit that third line, and with its offensive upside, I think that could be good. And also Harkins plays the corners very well and plays that hard, gritty style of hockey well for a guy developing, so I think having him playing with Appleton and Stastny gives them more of a chance to flourish offensively when Harkins can work the boards and make those dirty passes from behind the net. Now, the fourth line, I've got Matthew Perreault playing with Adam Lowry and Trevor Lewis. Now, Matthew Perreault has, in my opinion, started very badly this season, but has picked it up in the last couple games and has looked better. But nonetheless, I think that Matthew Perreault drawing into the lineup consistently might not be something I would prefer to see moving down the line, just due to consistency and also developing younger players. Since Matthew Perreault is older on a 1-year expiring deal, I think it'd be more important to get in a guy, get him used to a system, and try to get him more confidence and build that role, since there's not even a guarantee that the AHL and the Moose will play this year. Although they are slated to have a season start, teams are already pulling out, and the Canadian division or whatnot they're going to do with Canadian teams is still up in the air. So I would be interesting to see whether or not how many of these guys actually get developing minutes that are younger. So I think having Frenchie on the fourth line with Lowry and Lewis would just be a really good puck defensive line, and I think that they would draw a lot of offensive minutes in their on the time on attack, and they would just be a really good forechecking line. So I think that would be a good line. Now, that's my first lineup combination. My second lineup combination is similar to my first with a few little tweaks. My first line, obviously the same with Kyle, Scheifele, and Wheeler. I think, again, like what I said with my first combos, I think that applies to the second one as well. Now, the second line as well, well. The top 6 stays the exact same: Kopp, PLD, and Ehlers. Where it gets different is the bottom 6. I think having Jansen, Harkins playing with Stastny and Appleton again stays the same. The only tweak I have on this second line combo is the possibility of taking out Matthew Perreault and subbing in Christian Veselan. And I think that I've really been a big fan of Christian Veselan's game, so I think having him swap with Matthew Perreault could be a beneficial thing moving forward if Matthew Perreault starts to play bad, because I really liked what I've seen from Veselan in his game from Liga, translating over to the minutes he's had so far in the NHL this season. I think he's shown a lot of development, and I'm curious to see whether or not that development continues, so I would like to see him get a more increased role with the team moving forward. Now, the third line combo I have is where it gets a little bit more different. On my first line, I've got Kyle Connor playing with Mark Scheifele and Nikolai Ehlers. Now, the reason why I have Connor and Scheifele staying together obviously is to do with the fact that I think that they both play very well and complement each other in the past. Although they've struggled recently, they still have that good combination and are very deadly players. The reason why I have Nikolai Ehlers on that first line is because, in my opinion, I've said this in past on game reaction videos, that I think Wheeler playing on that first line can slow them down against certain matchups. So Ehlers, with his ability to move the puck and the speed he has that from that transition game from the defensive end through the neutral zone on the pressure into the offensive zone, I think that guy could really benefit a line of Connor, Scheifele, and Ehlers. I think that would be very, very good for them as just puck movement and speed. I think they would really complement each other well, and I think that would be a pretty good first line for the Jets moving forward against a lot of teams' matchups in the Canadian division. I think a matchup like that would be very, very good against the Leafs and against possibly even Montreal with how much speed and youth they have in their top 6. So I think that would be a very good matchup for teams like that. On the second line, I've got Paul Stastny playing with Pierre-Luc Dubois and Blake Wheeler. Now, the reason why I think that that's a very good line is because Stastny and Dubois, like I've said, play a similar role and similar type of style at center. They're both very good offensively, but they also know how to play good defensive hockey. They know how to win faceoffs, and just very good at their center positions that they are. So I think having Stastny slide over to the wing could really benefit the play in the wing and just in the overall corners of the ice. I think that he could really play that role well with Dubois in the middle with that good shot, and Blake Wheeler has such a good ability to control the puck even at an older age, and has shown that this year on the power play and when they've gained offensive pressure in the offensive zone. So I think having Wheeler with Dubois and Stastny could be a really high pressure line with a lot of forechecking, and that could result into a lot of dirty plays in front of the net that could benefit in goals for the Jets moving forward. So I think that could be a very interesting line, but nonetheless, I think that overall they would complement each other very well playing together on a second line like that. Now, the third line, I've got Andrew Kopp playing with Adam Lowry and Christian Veselan. Now, I've talked about this line potentially in other videos, and the reason why I think it's so good is because Kopp plays that role really well with that top 6 offense we've seen from him, and he plays very good defensive hockey with positioning. The same thing goes for Lowry to start this season and just in the past. He's a great penalty killer, a great guy with positioning, and knows how to win faceoffs, just plays that defensive hockey role really well, and knows how to jump in on the offensive opportunities consistently when he gets the best look. And Christian Veselan, like I've already said, I like his development, and I want to see what he can do more. I think as a power forward with good offensive upside and a good shot and puck control, he could play very well with Lowry and Kopp. I think that he could complement all those players very well, so that would be an interesting line to see nonetheless. Now, on the fourth line, I've got a line that I think has a lot of potential, and that is Jansen, Harkins, David Gustafson, and Mason Appleton. Now, Mason Appleton, like I've said, has been great to start the last 5 games. Jansen Harkins is a guy I see with a lot more upside than some other people do, and I really like the play of David Gustafson in the opportunity in some of the games that he's shown. He's shown a lot of good positioning, good defensive mindset, and he's just not made a lot of mistakes. So I think that he would be a good fit in there on that line, and also there's a lot of potential with any of those guys to move up throughout the lineup in the future. So I think that could be an interesting third line. Now, my fourth and final line combination variant that I have for the Jets this season is probably the one that is more, that I think is my favorite, and it's based off of everything to do with the fact of how players have played this season, where they are due to age, where we have with players leaving the team on contracts and money and whatnot. And this is just, in my opinion, what the best potential lines could be for the Jets this season, even though I highly doubt Paul Maurice ever does anything like this. The first line, Andrew Kopp, Mark Scheifele, Kyle Connor. Like I've said, Kopp has shown he's got amazing skills offensively and whatnot, and I think that he, again, complements Scheifele very well with the way that Scheifele plays the center. Kyle Connor and Scheifele, like I've already said, 2 amazing puck-moving players, great chemistry. They've got a lot of potential together when they are playing at their best, and I think adding Andrew Kopp there could really solidify that line defensively because of the way that Andrew Kopp plays the ice defensively and plays against his opponents. So I think that could really help Scheifele and Connor overall with the more defensive play if they had a guy like Kopp really, really hounding them and pressuring the players defensively and really getting them involved more defensively in their own zone. My second line is Paul Stastny, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and Nikolai Ehlers. Like I've said with Stastny and Dubois, they play a similar type of hockey, so I think they would both complement each other very well if Stastny was on the wing and Dubois was playing the center. And then Ehlers obviously has more speed than both of those guys combined, so he has the ability to move the puck really well and help set up and bring the puck through the neutral zone as the main puck carrier on that line. So I think it would be very complementary to every single one of their players' games. And also to mention that, not to mention, Nikolai Ehlers has a fantastic shot and a release and great positioning. He knows how to really work around that top of the blue line and behind the dot, and he's just really good in that area. So I think that having him with two guys that work the corner, and I like to play that center of the ice, and the way that Ehlers likes to circle that the top of by the blue line and find opportunities to cut it and take a shot, I think that would really complement that second line and overall that top six with that really type of offensive bite that they have. The third line, I've got Mason Appleton playing with Adam Lowry and Blake Wheeler. Now, I think that this line has so much potential. Mason Appleton, like I've said, has shown that he has so much speed and can really, really elevate a lineup, especially with just a fourth line or third line like he's already showing with his speed and offense in the last 5 games. Adam Lowry as well is looking like a different player offensively, and Blake Wheeler, although is slow, would match up beautifully against so many teams for third lines in the NHL. And I think that every single one of these players on here, but all of their game would complement each other so well, with Lowry's ability to play the faceoffs and play good defensive hockey, Appleton's speed and good defensive mindset with a lot of offensive upside and good shot placement, and Blake Wheeler's ability to control the puck, maintain possession, and set up a great pass. I think with all of those guys together, that could be an insane line moving forward, and I think that could really be beneficial to the Jets. My fourth line is Christian Veselan, Jansen, Harkins, and Trevor Lewis. I really like Trevor Lewis's play so far as a veteran. I think that he brings a lot of experience as a 2-time Cup champion to that fourth line with 2 young guys and could really help propel their development forward by really showing them how to play that bottom 6 role well and develop their game even more, especially Veselan and Harkins. Their defense could really improve off of Lewis. Their positioning defensively, the way they can control the puck and draw minutes and put on offensive pressure on the forecheck, I think could really help develop playing with Lewis. And I really like both those players moving forward with this team, and I would really like to see them develop and learn from the best. And Trevor Lewis is one of the better bottom 6 forwards we've seen in recent years, especially coming off those 2 cups with the LA Kings. But those are my 4 line combinations that I think would be the best for the Jets moving forward. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below on my opinions, and I would love to see all of your line combinations when Pierre-Luc Dubois arrives with the Jets. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'd love to see your line comments. Whoever I think has the best line combinations, I'm going to pin it. So, go ahead and go down there. So I would love to see what you guys do there. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Like and subscribe if you're new, regardless of the team you root for. Turn on notifications if you haven't already. Peace, love, and positivity, everybody. I will see you in the next video. Go Jets, go.